Hi, I'm Matt, and this is Matt Reflects. Well, we got to talk about something that happened yesterday, which was pretty awesome. Supreme Court ruled against the Trump administration on his tariffs. And honestly, even though they should have ruled against them because that's Congress's job, not the job of the president. They always give Trump whatever he wants, no matter how illegal he does things. So this kind of was a good thing. Now, I'm not going to go through what they said or anything, but just you really need to look at the end of what Chief Justice Roberts had to say. He effectively always gives Trump a fucking opening, excuse my language, but an opening to do what he wants anyway. Obviously Roberts he's not as extreme as Alito and I can't even think of the other guy's name. But they're not as extreme, but at the same token, they still all have this unitary executive ideal, which is just basically another word for fascism, because they can say all they want. When you take away the power from the courts, take away power from the legislator, and put all the power into the executive branch, into one person, because that's the problem with the executive branch in its own. The biggest problem with our government in the executive branch is the executive actually has too much power. The president shouldn't have as much power as they do. That leads to what we're seeing today with authoritarianism and dictatorship right on the border of happening in the United States. So, I got to give Roberts and, of course, the Democrats in that are part of the Supreme Court some good props for ruling the right way this time and telling them no. The power of the purse, the power of pretty much the laws comes from Congress, not from the executive. The executive's job is to police the laws, to make sure that everybody follows the laws, not make the laws. So anyway, so there's some of there. That's really kind of where I'm getting at it. I don't expect that these tariffs will actually go away. More likely than not, Trump's just going to find a new method to do what he wants anywhere. He's just going to write another executive order. It's going to take another year to go through the court system like it did this time. And another year from now, we'll have the absolute horrible damages from these tariffs. Now, I get what people say. They'll say, but Matt, the tariffs, they will help, our businesses be stronger amongst our own economy. But the problem is we never built out the businesses in the first place. If you were going to do something like what the Trump administration is doing, you would have wanted built out the businesses in which to be able to compete once the tariffs are enacted. For instance, if I was going to try and enact tariffs on, say, pens, ink pens, the way to do that is you want us in the United States to be able to produce all the ink pens that we use in the United States. In which to do that, we need manufacturers producing ink pens in the United States. Okay, well that's pretty simple. if you put a bunch of tariffs up when we don't have any ink pen manufacturers, you're not necessarily going to get manufacturers, you're just going to get expensive pens. What the government could have done is said, we're only buying our ink pens from somebody who makes ink pens here. And you help a company set that up initially, and then that company can compete against the world once we tariff the pens. I mean, that's one of the problems that we're having. And so the few manufacturing we do have are actually being harmed right now by the tariffs because they send more back and forth across international borders than any of the international companies. So GM, Ford, all of them are absolutely hit hard. So anyway, yeah, there was just a little bit to think about with the tariffs and the Supreme Court. I don't think it's going to last. I think these tariffs will be back rapidly, but we can hope. Anyway, I'm Matt. This is Matt Reflects. Like, subscribe, share, and we're going to keep talking about all sorts of stuff. Again, Magic the Gathering, politics, and all sorts of fun stuff. Anyway, have a good one.